from ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 in Southern California. This is BizNinja Entrepreneur Radio with your host, Tyler Jorgensen.
Out to BizNinja Entrepreneur Radio. I am your host, Tyler Jorgensen, and today we get to talk with Andreas Wolf, who is the president of EyePromise, eyepromise.com, and they are one of the leading supplements in the eye health space. Many people think that when you think of eye supplements, you think of drops, but they're doing it through vitamins and through nutrition. So I'm really excited to talk with you, Andreas, about the business of eye health. Welcome out to the show.
Great, Tyler. Great being here. And thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So we're going to address, for those of you that are watching and not just tuning in on ABC News, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that behind Andreas is a Boston Red Sox. You've got Fenway Park there. What's the significance of that?
Yeah, so we're EyePromise is the official eye vitamin of the Boston Red Sox. That doesn't mean that we only support the Boston Red Sox,
right? But
we do have a special partnership with them. We actually have players on every Major League Baseball team who take our products. And we work closely with them and other athletes to leverage, get the word out more about who we are, what we do, how we help them, not only with their vision and their game, but also how that translates to people like you and me and everyone else who is watching or listening in terms of how through dietary supplementation you can help your eyes. And
let's first unpack that real quick. I think most people, when they think of eye health, if you're not in the industry, you're going to think, oh, I just need to go get glasses or wear contacts. But you guys have a whole line of supplements. You don't just have one or two products. You have a whole line of supplements to help eye health. Give us the elevator pitch of education of why people need vitamins for their eyes.
Yeah, great question. It goes back, you are what you eat, right? And there's certain vital nutrients that you need for your eyes. And in particular, zeaxanthin and lutein. Zeaxanthin, very hard to pronounce, but a very important carotenoid that you typically would get from your leafy greens or colorful vegetables. We are able to source that naturally from peppers, and combining that with lutein and other key ingredients, we're able to put that in a soft gel, and by providing that to people that either are just looking for that perfect multivitamin for your eyes, or people that are suffering from age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. These are key ingredients that you need, and that's how we put it together.
Awesome. So, I mean, is someone going to start taking your supplements and have their prescription go decrease, or are we talking about just helping sustain and maybe slow down the natural effects of age?
Yeah, I wish we could do that. Think of basically of what we do as your internal sunglasses. Okay. So you would wear your regular sunglasses to cover yourself for UVA, UVB rays. What are the ingredients that we have in our products? What they really focus on are providing that natural layer of protection, so that natural filter. Those internal sunglasses. And that layer is made up of zeaxanthin and lutein. And that actually helps filter out blue light. So obviously that's very important in normal life already, but especially if you think about, the last year where all of us, and even like you and I today, we're meeting through screens, staring at screens, it can help provide that additional protection for your eyes.
So it's about holistic health and about making sure the eyes are healthy and having the vitamins and nutrients they need. Now, a lot of our listeners are entrepreneurs and business owners, and I think that supplements are such a phenomenal business, right? Overall they have pretty high margins, and you guys do a lot of your business in through doctors, right? In kind of the B2B space where you probably go and spend time educating the doctors and hoping they educate the patients. You've been president of the company now for a few years. What was one of the biggest challenges that you faced as you took over the reins of the company, and how did you face it?
So for me, first of all, I was very intrigued by this company. So you have this smaller company in this very interesting space, number one doctor recommended eye vitamin brand. And one of the key things that I really wanted us to focus on was how could we be the best possible partner for the doctors? If we could help the doctors be successful with our products with their patients, where you would get great patient outcome, then we would be successful as a result of that. And so that was a little bit of a shift in the company in terms of helping the doctors explain the science behind it. We have a very impressive scientific advisory board made up of leading experts around the country, and really leveraging what they had to say too in terms of the right messaging, the right formulations that we have, building on and expanding on the wide product portfolio that we have, and getting our messaging right and educating the general public. As you said earlier, most people don't really know about dietary supplementation for your eyes, and your eyes are critical. They're linked to your brain. So it's absolutely critical to take care of those.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the challenges in the supplement space, right, is, or in kind of the nutraceutical space, is you're not medicine, but you're medicine adjacent. And so you have the FDA and you've got all these other things that you have to deal with. How do you balance messaging and education with and avoiding claims, right? Like you have to be able to really not ride the line, but you have to be clear on where the difference is. And so how do you guys manage that as a company?
Yeah, that's a daily discussion that we have, because we're a nutraceutical company, yet we invest a tremendous amount of our resources into clinical studies, because we want to show the efficacy of the products that we have. But to your point, it's very hard. Even though we are regulated, we can't make claims.
Right.
But so what we really focus on is focusing on the basics. So the ingredients that are in there, the effect that they have, working closely with the doctors in terms of them understanding, how it all ties together and how important nutrition is for your eye health. And then, as I said, we do the clinical studies. So we end up with pieces that are published in different ophthalmology and optometry journals, and that speaks for itself to a large extent. So that's kind of how we try to obviously work within the rules. And again, I would encourage anyone that is looking into this space to do your homework, because I think it's very important to ensure that companies are indeed making that investment to stand behind their products, that they work.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges is that, if you're just walking through a drugstore or a CVS or whatever, and you have two products on the shelf, it's hard to know which one of those brands is deeply investing in clinical studies like yourself. And I mean, there was a major articles and some exposés recently of brands at Walmart that had sawdust in them as fillers, right? And there's a major difference between brands that are doing things really, really well and brands who are just trying to capitalize on trends and just get product out there. So clearly, EyePromise is on the side of efficacy and ethical nature and doing all of that. But how do you combat the people who are willing to cut corners?
Yeah, so on our end, what we very much focus on is the certifications behind the product, the purity of the products. So all of our products are NSF certified. So I think that's something that's very important to look at. And then, if you are a professional athlete, what you'll be looking for is even a level up. So it's NSF certified for sport. And so many of our products, we actually go to that deep a level. So that ensures there's no sawdust or anything else in there, but you only have in there what we say on the label is in there. And I think that's extremely important, is to ensure that you can show that you have those certifications on your products. On top of that, in our case, it's a dietary supplement. So when I explain to people is, I'd like to refer to everything that's in our product. You should be able to identify in your foods. So for instance, you have competing products out there that take one of the ingredients and they run it through a chemical process. You end up with a synthetic in there. In our case, we've made the conscious decision to only work with natural ingredients. So, our zeaxanthin is all naturally sourced. Same thing with lutein, same thing with the other products or ingredients that we have in our products. So we are definitely on the other end of the spectrum. We're not the cheapest product out there, but I think we are certainly the most efficacious product out there.
Awesome. Now, you told me that you grew up in an entrepreneurial home. How are you applying an entrepreneurial spirit into your role as president of EyePromise?
Yeah, so I think culture is extremely important, and purpose and vision. So for my end, I really want to make sure that everyone in the organization understands directionally what we're trying to do. So I think understanding the greater purpose of what we're trying to accomplish as a company, that everyone understands that how their role ties into that. And so from my perspective, what I learned growing up in a very entrepreneurial and family business is if people understand what you're trying to accomplish, I do think that most people, they come to work and they want to do a great job. And when you can link your responsibilities and your accountabilities to the bigger cause of what the company is trying to do, I think people are more excited and they want to be part in terms of what we're doing. I mean, in our case, it's very easy. The correlation is the more we sell, the more we help people with their eyes, the more people that are helped, in terms of improving their eyesight. So that's a pretty exciting message to start off with. And then at the same time, I think transparency is very important. So the good, the bad, and the ugly. Celebrate successes, but also be open about things in terms of where we can improve. So I think that openness is very important.
Yeah, because I think, as president of a company, right, it's easy to do one of those two, right? You'll have a culture of criticism, or you can have a culture of praise. But you have to be able to really find that balance where you can, recognize where you need to get better, while also still really focusing on positives and celebrating wins. What's a recent win that EyePromise has had?
So we've had a few, but for the listeners, some that they may enjoy is we have had a few big time golfers, Padraig Harrington and Colin Montgomery, who started taking our products, and it was more initially in terms of they had a few eye issues and they wanted to try the products. And after a few months of taking the product, they actually came back to us both independently and communicated that they actually were able to read the greens better while they were playing, which we were very impressed by. And they said that they actually wanted to be more involved with the company. So here you have these, well-known, phenomenal golfing greats, and they are now ambassadors for the company. And so this is an area that we'll continue to build on. So that's been very exciting in terms of, people, there's nothing better than getting those testimonials of people who are taking your products and they say, wow, this is amazing in terms of the impact that it has had on me.
Yeah. And it does help when they're well-known celebrities in their field, right? But it's probably just as fulfilling to get it from any customer to get a review back. But it's neat when someone that has influence wants to be an ambassador. That's pretty cool. So like I'm noticing on your site, you have athletes, you have gamers, you have a lot of different verticals where this is helping people. Tell us a little bit about how EyePromise is helping gamers.
Yeah, so we have been working with gamers for many years now. We have a product called Screen Shield Pro, which initially we had gamers in mind, but it's basically your product that's for anyone. It's actually what I take as well, and it kind of puts all the science together. So think about it. These many of these gamers, they're grinding it out for 12, 14 hours a day, sitting behind screens playing. Eye fatigue, eye strain, impact on their eyes in terms of all the visuals that they have. And, our products really work. So they help them in terms of kind of relieve their eyes, from that stress. It's not like you take one pill and you're done. Right. It builds up over time. And as, coming back to what we talked about earlier, when you take our products, you can actually measure that you're increasing that inner filter in your eye. With zeaxanthin and lutein. So as you actually measure and you see that your that density of your macular pigment goes up, you're protecting your eyes better, and less issues. Or what they're telling us is they're sleeping better. There's less flashes behind their eyes. So it's been exciting to go down that path. What's interesting with many of these gamers too is that many are in that age where they feel that they're invincible. But you should be thinking about taking something right now for your eyes, because it will have a payoff later on in life too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like, you guys have sayings, and I'm looking at the site and the testimonials you have from professional athletes and all sorts of people. And then you have this kind of subtle but really strong call to action. It's time to upgrade your eyes, right?
That's right.
And one thing I love about the supplement and nutraceutical space is like the statements that are that clearly communicate what they do without making the claim of what they do. And like we've talked about earlier, it's something you have to constantly be working on, communicating clearly without making promises you can't back up. But
we have a great marketing team.
Yeah, it seems like it. It seems really cool. What are some big things that you're hoping to accomplish in the company over the next couple of years?
Yeah, so we're very much focused on growth, and so the entire eye space it's a hot space right now. Obviously, sadly, COVID has obviously had a big impact on there, where everyone migrated to being on screen. So obviously, concern about eyes and understanding about taking care of your eyes has increased rather dramatically. So we've seen a big effect there on our business. We, as I said, we work very closely with doctors. So the majority of our business all flows through the doctor channel. We're a partner to the doctors. We work closely with them, and they provide, multiple solutions. We on average, depending on the type of patients that they see, we can provide solutions for about 6 out of 10 of patients that they see. So as I said, from AMD to people with diabetes, people that are looking at suffering from dry eye, people that are just looking for some help with their eyes. So about six out of 10. So that really works. That's a big focus for us. Then that's on the direct to thanks. And then direct to consumer side, that's an area that we're very focused on right now. So in terms of, where people are not getting that educational awareness from the doctors, how can we get that right message across? As I said earlier, most people right now, if they're even thinking about supplementation for their eyes, they're thinking probably about drops, and they don't realize that by actually, taking dietary supplementation, you can actually benefit your eyes even more and more long term. Remember, with blue light, obviously blue light glasses have taken off, but they only work when you wear them. If you take the supplementation, that works 24 hours a day. 7 days a week. And so you notice that in multiple parts of your life, that can even help you, when we talked about MPOT, your macular pigment optical density, by raising those levels, you actually notice driving at night when it's raining or when you have bright lights coming your way, that glare recovery is much faster. That's actually one of the reasons with professional athletes, with baseball players, they're outside, they got to catch that ball that's coming high in the sky, and the sun, you got the sun right there. That's where the products help.
Wow. So you have a lot of different verticals of the business, right? You have the doctor, you're working on direct to consumer, you've got sponsorships and endorsement and ambassadors, all these different things. As you're growing the business, where are you seeing the challenges right now in those different verticals, and how are you solving them, or how are you working with your team to solve them?
Yeah. So on our end, it's prioritizing is the main challenge. We have a lot of opportunities, but we only have so much bandwidth and people. So it's ensuring that we commit to what we said strategically we wanted to focus on, and then seeing that through. And also recognize that if we do need to pivot, we need to change gears and focus on different areas. So with the team, it's very important, that we're in very close communication in terms of what we're trying to do. We're also trying to make sure that we're investing in the right areas. We can only do so much, so we're trying to be smart in terms of where we put our chips. But for us, it's very much about growth. And as I said, the doctor side, we're very focused there. We got a sales team all around the country. Direct to consumer, you'll see more of us, in months to come in different parts of the country, as we're focusing more on that direct to consumer part. We just can't be nationwide all at once.
Sure. Yeah, it's so it's smart. I mean, I really like that you have prioritizing and commitment, right? So many times brands or companies or entrepreneurs getting started they will reprioritize every day, right? And so they're making changes so fast that nothing has a chance to get traction. So seeing it through, being willing to pivot, but how do you balance the time of like, hey, it's time to pivot versus we just are giving up too soon? I mean, that's probably one of your main jobs as president of the company, is to navigate that sort of a thing.
Yeah, and it's hard, especially when so many of the variables around you change, right? Who would have known we would go through a pandemic, right? And then what do you focus on? So for us, it's all been about how can we delight our customers. So our key focus is, it needs to be easy and simple for anyone we deal with. So if we're working with the doctors, working with us and working with our programs needs to be easy and simple. Same thing with the consumers, right? And our customers. We want to make sure that it's very easy to work with us, to understand which product is best for you, to understand how we benefit you, how we have that communication back and forth. And if something doesn't work, we as a team, we need to be honest about that as well, and recognize when something doesn't work and try to fail fast, and then reprioritize something else that we need to focus on.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in failing fast, right? Like there's no pain or there's no negativity in failure. There's negativity in clinging to something that is already inevitable. Right? That's where the regret and remorse come in later on. Is like, we knew that wasn't going to work, but we didn't move fast enough beyond it.
That's right.
Absolutely. What as how big is your guys' team?
We're across the country, we're about 50 people.
Okay, good size company.
And then we work with obviously we have a pretty large network of doctors that we work with that are spread out throughout the country. We're a small but very ambitious team.
Yeah, and small is relative, right? To someone in a brand new startup that's big, and to big multinational that's tiny. But you guys, you've served a lot of people. I mean, how many doses of your product have you guys been consumed?
Oh my goodness, I would count that in the millions.
Yeah, I think I saw it somewhere on the site. It was something like 55 million or something substantial. And it's so cool because, like you said, as part of your guys' vision, you like, everyone that you can help with their vision is something that the whole company can rally behind. And that's really neat. Like that it's something that collectively you get to help that many people. And over 55 million doses. That's not a small amount. That's substantial.
It's really exciting. We have a Slack channel. Well, we have Slack that we use internally as well, but we have a Slack channel that specifically is focused on customer feedback that we get. So we have a phenomenal customer service team here in the office, and so when you call us, you actually get a live person on the phone.
Right.
But we have one where they will post internal testimonials of what people tell them on the phone. And honestly, that's one of my favorite channels to read because it's the impact. Yeah, of course, it's fun to talk about, the professional athletes and how they can putt better and everything else. That's awesome. I love that. But you know what? There are also the stories in terms of the truck driver who was worried about failing their vision test and thereby losing their livelihood, and their doctor prescribed our products. And they now have been taking our products for several months. And guess what? They passed their driving test, and they fully credit the product for that, and they can continue doing what they were doing. So we have all those different types of stories, that circulate. That is very motivating.
That's really neat, and you're right. Like we tend to, when we're talking on interviews like this, we tend to highlight the baseball players and the golfers and the professional athletes that you guys work with. But really, the day-to-day people that are benefiting from your product is your kind of everyday consumer. And those are the stories that are really meaningful, right? Is like, man, we just helped this person maintain and improve their life. And that's really cool.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Actually, did you know most people, they are, that for instance, are diagnosed with diabetes? It's the optometrist who actually sees the first signs when they do the eye exam. And that's, obviously you're concerned about losing your vision down the road. Like you can actually take something for that to help protect your eyes. It's just incredible.
Yeah, I think, that term, the eyes are the window to the soul, right? Like every optometrist believes it because what they find out and what they can see is pretty fascinating. So, Andreas, I'm a big believer that, when we spend all of our time trying to build a company, either as an entrepreneur or as a president, like it's about building the lifestyle that you want. What is something on Andreas's personal bucket list that you're going to accomplish in the next 12 months?
That's a great question. So professionally, to me, I am very much driven by growth. I have a passion for growth. So for me, it's seeing through that we can double or triple the size of this company over the next few years. That to me would be extremely exciting. I know we have the runway to do that. So that would be a lot of fun. At the same time, get involved in my own community, probably a little bit more. And that would be a good thing to do for myself.
Cool. I love that. Really appreciate it. I hope everyone goes and checks out EyePromise.com, and that's spelled out like your eyeball. So EyePromise.com. They're on all the socials and stuff as well. And to all my biz ninjas, wherever you're listening, tuning in, or watching, it is your turn to go out and do something.
Thank you for listening to BizNinja Entrepreneur Radio with Tyler Jorgensen. Please make sure to subscribe so you're first to hear new interviews and episodes. If you found this podcast to be valuable, please share it with a friend. Don't forget to visit our online dojo at bizninja.com to claim your reward for listening to the show.